We're going underrated?
Underrated, you're third.
All right, I'll start us off with Seth Curry.
Seth Curry.
The younger brother of Steph Curry, who is outshined by his brother, the greatest shooter of all time, until you look at their stats. And Seth actually has a higher three-point percentage for his whole career. Just because he doesn't shoot as much, he still shoots a higher percentage. He doesn't have the ball skill or the moving without the ball that his brother does, but spot-up shooting, he's super underrated. I like him on the Kings. I like him on the Sixers. I've heard he's in trade talks to get James Harden. If the Nets could get him, that's a steal. He's a solid role player.
Yep, I agree. I like that pick a lot. My number 3 is Dejante Murray, San Antonio Spurs. You look at the guy's stats. He's not on TV right now. Not a big name. I saw going into he got named All-Star today. This last year he was 16-5-7. This year he's like 18-8-8. Spurs just, they're garbage. But I think you watch that guy's game. I think Dejante Murray, he gets on a good team. I think he's pretty good.
I'll tell you what, I was actually considering him for overrated. He's averaging 19 points on 18 shots. Sounds like a Russell Westbrook situation. He's just up there chucking.
When do you hear him as a top player?
If you're shooting 18 times, you're only scoring 19 points. Those are Marvin Bagley numbers.
Bro,
you're just costing your team possessions.
Bro, he has to shoot that because the team's awful. So he's taking crazy shots because the team's so bad. You put him on a good team, he's a real deal. I don't care what you say.
Just saying, if I went out there and chucked up 18 shots, I could probably get a few points too.
Well, you can't. You think you can beat out Mark Cuban?
I could.
All right,
hit me up, Mark.
Let me get in this argument here. I actually, my third player was actually Devonte Murray as well. I think he's getting kind of lost there in San Antonio, being 100%. The absolute horrid team they are. They're not getting very many national games, if at all. So I actually couldn't agree with more on Potter. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's very underrated. I think that All-Star selection was very deserving. So I think
yes, sir. All right, let's jump over to number 2.
Number 2. So here's an actual underrated player. So Dejante Murray, 19 points on 18 shots. This player, 19 points on 12 shots. So he takes 6 less shots, scores the same amount of points. Domantas Sabonis also brings down more rebounds and the same amount of assists as Dejante Murray. He gets overlooked because he's in Indianapolis, but he's a stud. I actually want the Kings to go after him.
I'll admit I do not have him on my list, but he's legit. When there was the talks, it was just that stupid little thing, that came up of, De'Aaron Fox for Sabonis, blah, 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 this, that. Hey, Sabonis, the Kings, De'Aaron Fox, you hear he's their foundation. But to be honest, you guys have a lot of young guards. So it wouldn't be the worst thing to bring Sabonis in. I like the guy too. My number 2, and he's putting him on the radar this year too. Jarrett Allen, maybe. Jarrett Allen is underrated. He's 23 years old, okay? He is young, 23. This year alone, he's 16 points, 11 boards, almost 4 offensive boards a game, 66% shooting, and the Cavs are winning. I'm not saying it's just him, but you can't overlook this guy. This guy, Cleveland's 4 in the East. Who would have thought? I think Jarrett Allen, he's right there.
It's a solid pick. There's some good numbers for a young player. Seeing him on the Nets and the Cavs, it seems like he's been in the league longer than he has, but he's a pretty young guy and he's already producing. That's a good pick.
Big stir.
Number 2, underrated, Domantas Sabonis. averaging 19, 12, and 5 this year. Again, I would agree with him. I would love to see him on the Kings. I think now's a great time. You get him somewhat cheap. He's not very old. I think he could have a future in Sacramento, but that's just me. But yeah, I think
that's another guy that you think he's older than what he is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
I believe he's 25 years old and he's currently playing in his 6th season. And he looks like a veteran out there. So
yeah,
I think he's a pretty solid overall player.
All right. Let's finish number one.
Number one underrated player. Another young guy that seems like he's been in the league for a while. Durable, plays a lot of games, and he shoots the 3 ball well for a big man. Karl Anthony Towns. I think it might be time to get him a new team because that guy's a stud. He's shooting the same percentage from 3 that Seth and Steph Curry are this season. He's shooting 40% from 3 as a center, averaging 24 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists as a center. That's pretty solid. And he's been consistent for 7 years. He's been putting up 20 points, about 10 rebounds for 7 years straight on a horrible team.
But have they been horrible teams? Why can't they win?
That's a good question.
I look at Andrew Wiggins. Okay, when he was there, it just looked like turmoil. He gets to a team, all of a sudden he looks great. I know Karl Anthony Towns puts up the numbers, but they have a team around them. How can the Timberwolves? This is their best year they've had in years. Because you look at that guy and he's a beast every year, an absolute unit. It's just crazy to me that they're not winning more. I don't know what it is, but maybe if he were to get to another team, it could be ownership. Could be because look at Wiggins, he's thriving.
I think it could be a Wiggins situation. Yeah.
My number one actually is Seth Curry, and I was debating between Jarrett Allen, Seth Curry, and I had to go back and really consider. They thought the 76ers have an absolute superstar in Ben Simmons. Okay, this guy's not there, sits. You don't know what to do, okay? Like, I always thought Joel Embiid was the face of that team, but a lot of people think Ben Simmons, blah, this, that. Well, you put Seth Curry in there, they're still in the playoffs. He's playing well. I think that guy, he does his job. He doesn't overshoot. He just does his job well. He knows what his job is, and I think any team that has him, he'll help him out. He'll never be like his brother, scoring 30 every night, pushing a team all the way to an NBA championship, but he'll do his job. He'll do his job. Good. What about you, Sterling? Number one, round it out, baby.
Very interested to hear what you guys think about this one. Brandon Ingram is my number one underrated player. He is averaging 23, 6, and 5 this year. He's 24 years old. Again, I think he's another player that's kind of lost in the team situation. They're obviously going through some things with Zion, so he's obviously a hot topic. They don't play on TV very often, if at all. But he has consistently for the last 3-4 years, especially when he got to New Orleans, he's been a very solid overall player, both on both sides of the ball. Decent 3-point percentage. This year it's a little bit lower at 35%, but overall he's pretty high in the 30%. Not a whole lot of turnovers, which is key. He's averaging 2.5 a game. It's not great, but it's seen worse in some other players. But I think he is the number one underrated
player.
Agree,
and it makes me go back to the Lakers trade. Mm-hmm. Obviously they got a championship out of Anthony Davis, but did they give up the right people? Could have because Brandon Ingram is a bucket, and that's I think what the Lakers need right now when AD's out and stuff. Other than LeBron, they need someone to get them a bucket. Like Malik Monk is doing that for him now. And I don't know if
there's an underrated player for you. Yeah, he's holding that team together.
By next year, he may be in this thing because right now
He was actually my fourth underrated player. I had 5. He was my fourth underrated player.
Yeah.
Don't ask me who my 5th is, but Malik Monk was my 4th.